Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, in this session, we will talk again about our course, Life Science, and we will talk about ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of ecology, which has interaction between living things in the system and surrounding environments. Okay, next we talk about three types of ecosystem. There are aquatic or water ecosystem, terrestrial or land ecosystem, and artificial or man-made ecosystem. In aquatic ecosystem, we have two types. There are freshwater and marine. Freshwater is related with water inland, and marine is we talk about ocean. In freshwater, we have three kind ecosystem. The first one is lentic. Lentic related with still water. So this water is static, like ponds or lake. The second one is lotic. It's different with lentic because lotic is related with flowing water, like river. And the last one is wetlands. Wetland is a kind of ecosystem where seasonally or periodically there are water come flow this area, and this area become wet, and sometimes this area becomes dry. So these wetlands we can find in swamp. Okay, next, it's about terrestrial ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, we have four kind ecosystem. The first one is forest. We have three types of forest. There are temperate, taiga or boreal, and tropical. In taiga or boreal, we can find this type of forest in near pole area, like in Eurasia, in North America, like in Canada, or in Britain. Next, in temperate forest. Temperate forest is in subtropical area. This forest we can find in Western Europe, Central Europe, and northeastern of Asia, like in Japan, Korea, and Chinese. And the last one is tropical. We know that tropical area is near equator. So this forest is very humid and have a lot of biodiversity. Like in our country, in Indonesia, mostly the forest is tropical forest. The next one is desert. Desert we can find in mostly in Africa and Middle East. The next one is grassland, like in savanna and steppe. And the last one is tundra. Tundra is ecosystem in pole area, in north and south pole of the earth. And the last one is artificial or man-made ecosystem. This artificial or man-made ecosystem can be formed in aquatic ecosystem or terrestrial ecosystem. If aquatic ecosystem, we can find in dam or pond. But in terrestrial ecosystem, we can find in form of city or village. Okay, next we talk about component of ecosystem. We have two types of component ecosystem. The first one is the living things. All living things in ecosystem. We called it biotic components. In biotic components, we have producer, mostly plantation. And the second one is consumer. We have three types consumer. The primary is herbivore, and the secondary and tertiary is carnivore. The secondary consumer is the predator of herbivore, and the tertiary consumer is highest predator. After that, if the predator is predator or maybe plant is dead, it will decay or decompose by decomposer, like earthworm in the earth. The next component is abiotic. The abiotic components is non-living component of the ecosystem. Besides, it's not life, not living things, but it's important factors that give highest impact to the ecosystem. Some abiotic components in ecosystem are temperature, sunlight, water, pH level. This is we call acid and base. Rainfall, rock, wind condition, salinity, and soil. Okay, if we'll talk about the condition or quality of the ecosystem, it's related with ecosystem conservation. Because if we want to control or create the healthy environment or healthy ecosystem, you must do three kind of activities related to ecosystem conservation. The first one is monitoring. The goal of monitoring ecosystem is detecting disturbances to protect the ecosystem stability. Next one is maintaining ecosystem. The maintaining ecosystem purpose is control human influences toward ecosystem, because human have the biggest impact to our ecosystem. So we must control the human influences so that the ecosystem will be still in the healthy condition. Okay, the last one is restoring. If the ecosystem already damaged, we need to repair the damaged ecosystem so that we can change it into healthy ecosystem. Okay, we can talk one by one. The first one is ecosystem monitoring. In the ecosystem monitoring, we have two kinds of monitoring. The first one is the simplest one, biomonitoring. In the biomonitoring, we use living things condition as to detect the ecosystem quality. So in the biomonitoring, sometimes we monitoring sensitive species in the ecosystem to detect ecosystem degradation. Like in this example, in forest or in some plantation ecosystem, there are some sensitive species like bugs, like grasshopper or butterfly. It's very sensitive with the change of quality, ecosystem quality. So bugs or insect community, if the insect or bugs have changed in number, maybe it's become lower, it means there are something happen in the ecosystem quality. So it will give insight to human to how control the condition of the ecosystem after get the data from biomonitoring process. The next one is using GIS, Geographic Information System, and remote sensing technologies. This kind of monitoring, it will combine geospatial analysis using GIS and remote sensing technologies to monitor the ecosystem. It's related with the advanced technologies, so it will costly, but it will give a real-time condition of the ecosystem. Okay, we will talk about ecosystem management. Why it's important? Ecosystem management is related with how to maintain the stability of the ecosystem. If we talk about maintaining the ecosystem, the first one is how we balance our ecological system and social system. Because in the point of view of ecological system, the goal is to protect the biodiversity in the ecosystem. But in the point of view of social system, the goal is creating or improving the human well-being. Sometimes it's will interacting each other. So if we push the human well-being improvement, sometimes it will lower the biodiversity. Or if we protect the biodiversity strictly, it will difficult to improve human well-being. So we must creating balances between two systems. If we next if we want to balancing this point of view, we need to create ecosystem-based management. In the ecosystem-based management, we have the 4 ecosystem services. The first one is how to supporting and protecting the biodiversity or nativity of the ecosystem. And the next one is how to provisioning the human needs from the ecosystem, like water, food, medicine, raw materials. The next one is about cultural. If we want to encourage community to support and control the human influences, we need to develop the culture which can support it, the ecosystem. And the last one is about regulation. Because management can be implemented effectively if we have the good regulation or the best regulation that can supporting our ecosystem. Okay, in the last step, we will talk about ecosystem restoration. Ecosystem restoration is needed by damaged ecosystem. If the ecosystem already damaged, we need to improve the damaged ecosystem step by step so the ecosystem becomes healthy, or we can say fully recovering. In the ecosystem restoration, we have 4 steps to recover the healthy environment. The first one is reduced impacts, because the influences or disturbances will degrade the ecosystem. So if we want to stop the damage, we need to reduce societal impacts to the ecosystem. It will related with how we create regulation or culture to supporting the rehabilitation of ecosystem. The next one is remediation. If the impacts already reduced, we need to make improving ecosystem management. So in the future, the ecosystem degradation will be stopped and the ecosystem will be protected by our community. The third is about rehabilitation. In this rehabilitation, we will repair the ecosystem function so that the ecosystem can be step by step will be recover about its function. And the last one is about ecological restoration. In the ecological restoration, we will need to recover the native ecosystem. So ecosystem which already damaged can be fully recovered. If we have a very polluted river, step by step, we can reduce impact, remediate it, rehabilitate, and the next one is restore the river ecosystem so that we can cut the pollution and we can return the condition of river ecosystem become freshly. Okay, I think this is our topic in this session. I hope it will encourage more you to study about life science in mechanical engineering. See you next time. Bye-bye.